So, we all have incredibly dumb questions, don't we? Sometimes, though, we need somewhere to ask those stupid questions. So why don't we go to r/no stupid questions? Why do my husband and I experience severe flatulence after visiting his parents? This is not a joke. For years we have been noticing that every time we visit his parents, we fart profusely for hours afterwards. No milk products involved. I am lactose intolerant, so I would avoid those anyway. My husband isn't. Or unusual foods. Even if we don't eat anything while I'm here, it still happens. Whenever we stay there overnight, I actually suffer from a painful gas stomach ache. What is this phenomenon? Edited to add. We are both usually flatulence free or regularly flatulent, unlike after being there. This does not happen after visiting other places. Also, we've been married for 10 plus years, and though it took me a couple years to notice the connection, it's very obvious by now. It happens every single time, regardless of food consumption. Whoa, who thought excessive flatulence would be my biggest Reddit moment? What an honor. Thanks everyone for the theories and laughs. Since there seems to be a lot of interest, I will be conducting a full investigation. Here we go. We have ordered a water test online. Make no mistake, there will be no stone left unturned. I believe between the both of us, we are drastically elevating the levels of methane in the atmosphere every time we visit. If not for ourselves, we have to solve this mystery for the environment's sake. Frequently asked questions. Elevation and distance. Where I live, 520 meters. Where they live, it's 503. Had hard time finding this one out because they live outside the city, but here it is. I think that pretty much eliminates this as a theory. Distance is 40 kilometers or 45 minutes by car. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Do they feed you lentils, beans, broccoli, artichokes? I love both beans and lentils and cook them frequently at home. My MIL does not ever cook beans. Most importantly, the farts when we leave there are worse than bean farts. Think long gushes of wind, like air leaving a small untied balloon. It also happens when we do not eat there at all. Do they fart? Do they know? The accepted topics of conversations are world politics, current events, careers, and local issues, with many poignant silences sprinkled in between. Farting is not on that list. God damn it! The mood there is kind of like an episode of The Crown, not one centered around Charles or Diana. Well, then what's even the point? Think highbrow North European academically inclined people. I am the wild card of the family, a heavily tattooed Latina creative. I am the only one without a college degree. If even their son won't ask, I cannot be the one to bring up farts in their presence. Is it stress? We do lead stressful lives. Visiting them, while mentally taxing, is not the most stressful situation in our lives. We do not fart this profusely in other stressful environments. Do you laugh/talk a lot when you're there? No for both. So unless staring blankly into the void is the equivalent of laughing, this is not a reason. Are you Canadian? I've been getting multiple messages asking me this. It is deeply intriguing and has me wondering if there's a stereotype that I'm not aware of that Canadian people fart a lot. Does Canada produce a lot of gas? Please explain if you can. I am not Canadian. I am South American. How is this post still going? Update 2. After first visit. So we just dropped off the kids there and took an empty bottle. We filled it there and brought it back home. Needless to say, I am farting as I type this. I will wait for the farting to subside, and once I am healed, I intend on drinking said water in the comfort of my own home. This should help establish whether or not the water alone affects me, or if there's an emotional part to the flatulence equation. Maybe it's a unique combination of weird water and a slow death of joy. We'll keep you posted. The water test should arrive in a few days, and then I will use it once we pick up the kids next Saturday. I guess we need to use it on fresh water straight off the tap for optimal results. Thanks! Okay, we've got the start of the test. Okay, here's a link. We have the results. Oh my god. Fartgate update. The fantastic results of my water analysis. farting friends of Reddit, here I finally am, delivering the first results of my fart water research. It did take me a while to muster up the courage to share these, as they were tragically underwhelming. What are we doing here? I had envisioned an experiment where I would bring my own water, whereas my husband would drink theirs as a control, and we'd then observe whether both our sphincters sang on the way home or not. Unfortunately, the visit to pick up the children from my in-laws was almost transactional, and too short for me to personally test the effects of the water on my body as I hoped. There was no water drinking, no poignant silences over tea, no feelings of impending doom to the sound of my father-in-law's low rumbling voice while recounting the never-ending story. We barely talked. I did get to test the water with the test I bought. The kit included tests for nitrate, lead, iron, copper, hardiness, and chlorine. As per the results, the only things that seem really off are the pH and the hardiness, both having very high values. I do wonder if these are enough to induce such an extravagant display of wind. If any doctors read this, please do enlighten me. I would have needed to stay there for longer to do the bacteria test. I intend on doing it in a few weeks once I visit them again, but until then, the strongest theory is that pH and water hardiness is likely to blame. To the creep who created multiple accounts to message me about cropophilia, don't Google that, and asked me if I got aroused recounting this story. What? Get a life, learn to respect others' boundaries. What? Do the children also experience farting? This is the biggest part. This is what we have all been waiting for. Fartgate's conclusion. Fartgate, a small update. To whom it may concern, the mystery has not yet been solved. Bob Dylan once sang that the answer is blowing in the wind. My answer certainly seems to be. Makes you wonder if he encountered digestive issues similar to ours in his younger years. I think Bob Dylan did experience a great deal of farting. If anyone is still following my saga in the search for the truth, I do have a small update that sheds some light onto one of the questions I have been asked the most. Do your kids also suffer from the same problem? Up to this point, I was convinced this was not the case. You see, for the past few years, flatulence is the only topic of conversation on the drive home from visiting their grandparents. My husband and I become like two obsessed cops discussing an unsolved case, except our soundtrack is not synth music, although it does have a lot of bass, so I'm glad to know. My oldest child is 9, old enough that I would expect her to express some bewilderment if she suddenly felt like a helium balloon, especially if both her parents were talking about farts for 45 minutes in the car while audibly farting. She never did, so I figured that this was an adults-only issue, so I never gave it much thought. After reading the question so many times, I decided to ask her just to clear the air for good. Me. Child, do you notice that you fart a lot during/after visiting your grandparents? Child. Oh, absolutely. I can't stop. It's like I'm a rocket, ready to fly into space. I was dumbfounded. How had she never expressed this? All this time, she sat there in silence, quietly sharing our like a fart ninja. I asked her why she never said anything. I was listening. I didn't have anything to say. I wanted to see if you two could come up with a solution. And sometimes I got bored, so I just stopped listening. My baby. Truly a quality specimen of the neurodivergent kind. Also flatulent. Conclusion. Alcohol cannot be to blame. Edit. We will likely be visiting the in-laws on March 26th to 28th. More information will come then. Oh my god, surely they've posted more. Please tell me they've posted more on Fartgate. Fartgate postponed? Dear fart friends, I'm sorry to say that due to a medical emergency, our mystery solving would have to be postponed. My daughter spent a whole week at the hospital, not fart related, had to get emergency surgery and is still recovering. So our visit was obviously postponed. I would never dare bring her to the fart house in her weakened state. Worry not, I still intend to update once everything is back as it should be. Stay healthy and fart proudly. This is not what I expected this video to turn into. And they haven't posted anything about Fartgate since. They haven't done it. They've now just posted about how they accidentally drank paint. I don't care. I want Fartgate. That's the end of Fartgate?